Go.
Hello and welcome to the Modern Romantic Podcast, where we celebrate and inspire romanticism through passionate people doing incredible things. Hi, some people may paint with the colors of the wind, but I paint with the colors of music. I'm Trey, and I am joined by my co-host who paints with the colors of beautiful, beautiful photography and beautiful, beautiful fabrics, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi, pixels and fibers.
I like that. Pixels and fibers. How have you been, Emily?
I've been all right. It's awesome because I feel like we're finally getting into summer, so the garden's going, and I get something outside to check on every single day, and I love that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. As of like today of filming, yesterday was my birthday, so
Yes.
yeah, it was really nice.
Happy
Uh,
birthday.
Happy birthday to me, yeah. And also happy birthday to anyone who's currently listening right now and will be listening in the future. We appreciate you. But yeah, it was a really good birthday, and I got to do some fun things.
I feel like any day can be your birthday if you decide. You can just celebrate whenever.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, people take off whole months, people do whole weeks, whole weekends.
Hmm.
So I mean, you know what? Birthday season.
Birthday season. My birthday's in October, but my birthday season runs about 12 months.
That's why I treat me every day.
That's right. That's right. I don't feel like you need an excuse, but if you need one, we just gave it to you. So there you go.
Go, run, frolic. Birthday season.
Frolic. That's a command.
Well, you know who I'm really excited to get to talk to today?
Um, Idris Elba.
You know who else I'm really excited to talk to today?
I'm sorry, that was mean.
Would you introduce our fantastic guest
I
today?
would, yeah. Today we have on the podcast artist, advocate, and dreamer Lena Smith. Welcome to the podcast, Lena.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. First of all, I'm going to say I love your shirt. It is paint splatters in all the colors, and I'm here for it. It's really cool.
Yay! See?
Yay.
Do you have to ask, do you wear that when you're painting, or
No, I don't wear it. I actually wear it when I go out and do festivals. So when
Oh,
I go
yeah.
out and do festivals, I'll wear it, but it gets hot, so I don't in the summertime. But in the winter, this is my go-to.
yes?
Good
Excellent.
choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. Now you're in Arkansas,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I'm in Northwest Arkansas.
Okay. But you've been around. And one place that you have been to recently was Washington D.C. Is that right?
That is correct.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was like an unbelievable experience, kind of life changing. I don't want to be dramatic, but it kind of was.
Awesome.
I didn't know that I wanted to get into advocacy, and I hit 50 years old this year, and
Congratulations!
thank
Yeah.
you.
Happy
It's an
birthday.
right. It's great. It's an honor to get to 50. Honestly.
Mhm.
Anyways, I've entered a lot of contests throughout the years. I was a wedding photographer prior to dabbling in paint. So I won some awards in that arena as a wedding photographer. And as I was born with a rare disease, I guess I should back up on how this whole DC trip
Okay.
came about was, I was born with a rare disease in my eyes, both eyes. It's called a granular corneal dystrophy. There's like 7 different dystrophies, and I have like, I guess one of the weirdest, rarest ones. I guess I don't know, but it's. I have very strange vision. I'm losing my vision slowly, gradually. It's progressive, and it's a rare disease. And I saw this contest, for art contest, rare disease. Enter this contest is for poetry, music, and art. And I thought, well, I have a rare disease and I piddle around with art and that kind of thing. I thought, it's free to enter. I'll enter it. I probably won't win, because that's my mindset, I guess, because it's, 50 years of rejection. That's been my middle name. But I keep going. Because I don't take no for an answer, and I never will.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, so I thought, well, shoot, I'll just go ahead and enter this one. And I decided to paint an owl. And so I painted an owl called Hidden Clarity because I kind of relate to an owl because my eyesight is not that of an owl, but they have good hearing. And I feel like I have pretty good hearing. I can tell when UPS is coming or when the bus is coming, like the school bus. I can tell the dump trucks. I can tell FedEx. I can tell the differences in the engines coming down the mountain. And in fact, I can hear the bus way before anyone else can hear it. And my husband's always saying, how in the world? I'm like, I can hear it. So I can hear a lot of things. So I relate to an owl. So I decided I was going to paint this like really crazy owl that was colorful and wild and crazy and free, like how I feel. And why not, right? So I entered this contest. I forgot about it. I just entered it and went on about business. Didn't even think about it because I enter a lot of things, And I got an email and it said that I had won. And I was like, what did I win? What's the scam?
Right.
It's from a Nigerian prince.
Exactly. And at first I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I was like, no, I gotta blow up this email and read it. And then I realized I had won the contest that I had entered, the owl painting. And I was like, wait, what? And I sat there and I actually cried for quite some time because I couldn't believe it. Because I had only won one other thing before with photography, and it was a huge award back in the day. I won an international award, so that was pretty amazing back then. So I hadn't really won anything since, and so to win this was huge, and it was a $500 prize and a really beautiful trophy and a trip to Washington, D.C. to advocate for people with rare disease.
Awesome.
And I didn't know that was part of the prize. I was just wanting to win, just to win, just like, hey, I won, I didn't think that there was more to the prize. And I thought I should stop for a second and show the painting. And I know that some of this won't have video related to it. It'll only be audio. So
that's okay.
I probably should do a description. It's a pretty big painting. It's an 18 by 24. Sorry, I knocked my little background.
That's all right.
But it's a pretty big painting. Underneath,
I love that.
I finger painted underneath because I love to feel the canvas and paint. So underneath, you can see it, the swirls here. It's yellow and mauve and blue, greens. And I finger painted it. And then I took this brush that has a lot of wispy pieces to it and just started wisping the brush. I don't know. I just went for it. And I don't know, an owl happened. And so the wispy parts are white on top of all the what I call psychedelic type of colors. It's got a big yellow eye and the beak. And so I wanted to kind of describe it for maybe somebody who's also low vision. And so that painting won me a trip to DC, and I was kind of freaked out because I didn't know how I was going to get there because you have to pay for your trip there, and they would reimburse when you get there.
Oh,
and to make sure that you're going to show up, because I guess maybe somebody took money in the past and didn't show up.
sure.
And so I was kind of freaking out about how I was going to get there, because I don't have a ton of money, because Social Security disability, you know how that goes. Same old story. Let's play the violin. And so my in-laws offered to drive me all the way to DC and back, and it was an 18-hour ride all the way there one way.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and so my father-in-law, like a boss, drove from Northwest Arkansas all the way to Washington, D.C. And I mean, drove that car like a boss. And we got to stop at Buc-ee's, and that was really exciting. But we got to D.C., we were there for 3 days, and I was able to meet, what was that? Not senator, but the representative, congressman. I was trying to think of the word. Congressman Womack. We
Okay.
were able to meet him in person, and he was really lovely. He had a lot of nice things to say, and I was able to advocate for those of us with some vision problems here for the state of Arkansas, and
Yeah.
also about SSDI. That was a big thing that I wanted to discuss, was the recertification process and how ridiculous it is. I just went through my recertification process, that I have to prove that I have eye problems again, you know, giving the doctors all the forms and everything, yes, I'm still losing my vision. It doesn't come back, folks, unless Jesus come down here himself and cure me. It's not happening. Unless Elon Musk got some miracle, something. I don't know. But anyway, um, it just, it's just ridiculous that we have to continually recertify. The
Yeah.
blind community talks about this a lot. Like, why do we have to keep recertifying that we're losing our vision? And so I was able to speak to Bozeman's office, as well as Hill and Westerman. And
Okay.
so that was pretty exciting. We had one-on-one conversations with their offices, and was able to speak to Womack directly, and he made some phone calls for me on my behalf, and that was pretty exciting. And
Yeah.
I wrote them all thank you cards, and I want to continue to fight for those in Arkansas and in the United States in general, that recertification for a lot of people doesn't need to happen, especially somebody with ALS. They don't need to recertify, or you know what I mean? There's so many people with rare disease. Like, why did they have to continue recertification process? So that was what I wanted to do in DC. And so I didn't
Yeah.
know I wanted to be an advocate. So here I am.
So artist, advocate, mother, Thai food. How did you put it? Thai food.
Thai food
Goodness.
addict.
Yes, Thai food addict.
Yeah.
I with so I love that you're using art as part of that advocacy. So I'm curious kind of where that's going to take you with your next couple of pieces. Like how does this trip inspire your next couple of pieces?
Okay, so this trip inspired me because I had never met any other blind people except for my father, because it runs in the family.
Oh.
So my father, my daughter, and my sister, we all have this eye disease. And so I'd never met anyone else. So when I was in DC at the Rare Disease Week in DC, I got to meet other people who are using their blind stick, and I have been resisting. And I've just now started using it because I can see, obvious. I paint, but I see
Yeah.
very weirdly. I need
Mhm.
magnifiers, and I need extra lighting, more help. My vision is so weird that I use my stick because I say I'm drunk all the time, y'all. I'm drunk. And it's a terrible feeling to feel drunk constantly. And so when I found that I put my stick on the ground, the dizziness stopped. So now I go
Oh.
everywhere with the stick, and I don't care what people think. But getting back to the question about where I'm going to next, I'm working more with tactile things because
Mhm.
it just didn't dawn on me that people with vision, low vision, they want to touch paintings, and I love touching paintings. That's why I finger paint. So it never dawned on me. So this trip really inspired me to do that, and so I started.
Oh,
This is my very like first real piece that I've done that's kind of tactile, and as you can see here, for the audio part, this is like a 4x6 painting of a church with what I call cheetah prints. It's got gold leafing on it because why not?
yeah. Why
And
not? Right.
why not? Glitter and a 3D cross. It's got grooves in it, and the butterfly. You can tell when you touch it that it's a butterfly. The mushrooms. When I touch it, I can feel the dots, the
Oh,
shape of it.
yeah.
I'm not finished with it. I have little pebbles that I'm going to add and little pearls and that, type of thing. But the clouds, they're the two-dimensional. That I thought about maybe using some cotton. I haven't decided yet. But I'm working on more of a three-dimensional, tactile little
Oh,
pieces.
cute. I love those.
Oh,
Isn't that cute?
Those
I
are
want
very dimensional. It's almost like sculpture, but still painting.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and it's you can feel all of it. And I want to put magnets on the back so you'll have art for a refrigerator type thing. And
Love
so
that.
I sell
yes.
this at like little craft shows and type of thing. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
I can
So,
see why those might be popular.
Yeah.
well, I love it. As somebody who loves going to museums and looking at art, I love being able to sit there and look at something, but there's also that sensation of like the visual. If
Hmm.
that is, if I mean, what a cool thing to give something tactile, like to go up and be able to touch something. It's not just fine art. It's fine art, but it's fine art you can interact with.
Yes, and you know, the frustration for me is I have vision, but I don't have vision. It's so hard to explain. So when
Sure.
I do go to some place like Crystal Bridges, the big paintings are exciting for me because I'm like, yeah, I can see that pretty good. The smaller stuff gets kind of frustrating. Anything that's
Mhm.
typed up, I'm like, can we not use bigger font, people? Can we not use something bigger? Like, an 18-20 font would be a beautiful thing. I know I'm not the only one struggling here.
Right.
But I get frustrated sometimes because I want something immersive. I wish there was more immersive stuff where there was smell and sight and sound and touch, all the senses.
Yeah.
Include some food. Let's eat.
Right. We're here for that.
Right? Right?
Coming compared to like oil-based or acrylics or those types of paints, I'm curious over time with people going over top of it that that's going to degrade at some point. So how does that inform the types of materials that you use for these more tactile pieces?
Well, this like this little mushroom here,
Yeah.
Hmm.
this is made out of hot glue.
Oh,
Oh,
I
okay.
wondered what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so simple. You just get a silicone mold, buy one online. And I think I went to the little Amazon bins and found this for like $1. And you just put your hot glue in it, wait for it to dry, and it pops right out. And then I'm able to paint this. I love to finger paint them. My fingers are always full of paint, but I
Hmm.
finger paint the red on there, and then I just do the swipe of the white. I finger paint the backdrops too, and then I use marker to do the back. These Posca markers.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, and so I do varnish a lot of stuff. Um, I have something called dragon skin. I don't know if you can, when I move it, it has that
Is
cool
that
like
that shimmery kind of
yeah,
thing? Okay.
kind
Yeah,
of
like
seals it.
iridescence.
Yeah, and so I don't know how it will hold up over time. I hope it holds up good. I hope.
It looks cool though. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Um, so you had a question, Emily.
I
Go
was going to say,
ahead.
so you said that you went from wedding photography to painting. At like what made you think, "Oh, let me try painting?" Like I understand maybe you wanted to still be artistic, but like why that medium?
Ah, I think because in college I was in a costume design class,
Mm-hmm.
and the instructor, Island, she was really cool. She was always having us do watercolors, like costuming, and I
Neat.
was kind of obsessed with the watercolor and drawing these costumes, and that's kind of where it started
Okay.
when my vision was still good, because I had to stop driving 8 years ago. So this
Okay.
all came to a halt for me 8 years ago. And so, like, life stopped, really. And
Yeah.
essentially, it did, because I had to just stop everything. I had to retire as a wedding photographer. I had to get rid of my car. I mean, it's just like trauma, in a
Yeah.
sense. But
Mm.
I
That's a big change. Yeah.
huge. But I have to rise out of those ashes. You can't just sit, woe is me. So yeah.
This was how you phoenixed.
Yeah, Phoenix, right out of it. So
Yeah.
I forgot the question. I
Oh,
was like
why
rambling.
painting? Why was painting your
Sorry, I was
thing?
rambling.
That's okay. We do that too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't do just all painting. I do a lot of stuff. Do a lot of, I'm always experimenting, like sewing material on top of each other, and I
Yeah.
paint clothing. I've got I love to experiment, constantly experimenting with stuff, constantly like painting on.
Oh, cool. That's a
Oh.
back of a denim vest?
Yeah, it's not done either. I want to add bling to it, but I mean, how country? I love it.
Yeah.
And
So it's a pair of boots with flowers coming out of the top painted on the back.
yes,
Did
thank
you
you.
just use acrylics for that? Because I've heard that you can just do that.
It is acrylic, and it's mixed with oh goodness, I remember the bottle. It's like GAC something. It's a mixing medium. It's Golden is the brand, and you
Okay.
can mix it with any acrylic paint, and it's for fabric. This way you can wash it.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because, like, I've always wondered because if I ever paint, like, a wall, because it's my house and I'm painting a wall, and I get paint on my shirt, I can never get it off the shirt if I don't try immediately while it's still wet. And so then I thought, well, why can't I just use regular paint on my clothes then? Because
you
it'll stay
can.
there forever.
You can, but over time it'll start to disintegrate in the washer. But if you use that mixing medium and you heat
Okay.
set it, it's perfect.
Oh, love this tip.
Yeah.
That's a whole new world for me now.
Yeah. So I love painting just because, I like it on my fingers. I like
Hmm.
watercolor because the swishy, colors, the mixture, it's just fun. But I'm getting into this tactile thing. I love dealing with, wire sculpture. That was like a big thing that I was into
Oh, wow.
as well. And like I have a playhouse. The playhouse is full. I think I've become a hoarder in a good way. It's not in my house. Uh, and I have costumes. I probably could open a costume shop. I have so many interests. It's crazy. It's just the creative side of me, I guess. I have a whole room dedicated just to costumes, stuff that I
I
got from.
love that
Yeah.
so much. You have no
Hmm.
idea.
It's grown. It's terribly good, and it's grown so much that I started a show called Mudflat Mama, and I'm going to start filming again here soon. I've got
That's
uh,
amazing. So
probably
are these costumes that you wear, or what do you do with them?
uh, I wear them in the show,
Oh, all
Mudflat
right.
Mama, but I borrow them out to people. I
It's
have all kinds.
relatable.
I have all kinds of stuff. I bought a bunch of stuff from the Chicago Lyric Opera House when they had their big
Oh,
100-year sale.
Oh.
Don't be jealous.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. You
we're
said
jealous. Yeah.
we're jealous.
I'm jealous of me. Anyway, and I was there. I was
I
there.
love that.
Oh my goodness, I was there. I was at the Lyric Opera House for their big sale. They had 100 years of costumes. I was one of the first 20 people in line. I was there at 5 in the morning because I'm crazy. Anyway, I was there, and I made sure that I was one of the first 20. It was all over the news. The line wrapped I don't know how many
I
city
bet.
blocks, but I ended up with some of the most incredible. let's just say I spent way too much money. It's in my playhouse, but I have a lot of costumes that I use for Mud Flap Mama. It's what I call my slapstick comedy show. I'm tired of so much what I call reality online. If you get on TikTok, everybody's boohooing, we're broke, we're sad. Everything's sad and negative, and I'm trying to bring in some happy and positive. So not
Okay.
only through art, through advocacy, but through Mud Flap Mama, having comedy, a lot of funny skits. I'm chasing down I'm chasing down Bigfoot. I've got all these characters. I've got Sheriff Brown and City Joyce and Ruby Rebel and negative negative Nancy and Hot Flash Helen. There's all, and they all have
Hot
black.
flash, Helen.
I've got, but so I do that. But I also have my gardens. I have Rooted in Love Ministries, which is a nonprofit. So I grow. Last year I had 400 watermelon. This year I only have 100. My tractor broke down, so I had to do everything by hand.
Still, wow. This
And I
is a lot.
and I donate melons to the food pantry in town, and I also look for people on Facebook that are looking for food.
Yeah.
I ask them, do you like melon? Do you like squash? What do you like? And I go picking, and I'll find 3 or 4 families. My husband and I will go drop it off on porches. We don't tell nobody. I don't advertise it, but I guess I just advertised it just now. But anyway, we do a lot of stuff like that behind the scenes. I don't go making TikToks or anything weird like that about it.
Yeah.
But that's my happiness. That makes me so happy to give away food. Like, y'all don't even know what
Yeah.
it's like for me to bring melons to people. That it's just a lot of joy for me. And I grow 11 varieties. And I will stop now. You guys can ask questions.
11 varieties. No, you are like speaking to my heart here because we've got art and costuming and gardening. These are all things I'm into as well. So
Yeah.
this is amazing. Also, like you are obviously very active and do all kinds of things. And sorry, the Mud Flat Mama thing though. Do you film that? Do you post that anywhere?
I do on TikTok. I took a break for a while because I got to get the gardens are more important. Food,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then I had a lot of art, the art thing, the DC, that all
Yeah.
kind of. So, but I have new wigs, new costumes, and new characters, and I've got a new Bigfoot costume, and so I do all,
Amazing.
I do all the filming. I get some help from my husband because I can't see to edit very well.
Sure.
So he'll help me sometimes with with that.
I
um,
want to make sure I'm following you on TikTok for
yeah,
this.
but
Is it under what? Tell me how to find it, or what's the
um,
name of the account?
it should just be Mud Flap Mama, and I
Okay.
there's a dash that says Kitty Sue Johnson. I haven't decided who's going to be Kitty Sue. That may be the lady
Yep.
who interviewed
I
her.
found it.
You found her. Yep.
It's mudflap.mama.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, all of these are you.
That is all.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, it's mudflap.mama, MOMMA on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
And there
I have an
logged in.
Instagram. There's an Instagram, but I forget to post on it. I have so much going on. I forget to post on there.
Totally understandable. Well,
No.
I'm gonna go on there and watch this.
They're
Sounds
hilarious.
amazing.
I'm crazy, like in a good way, guys. Like I try to stay busy because losing your eyesight, it will depress you.
Yeah.
And I live rural, so I don't drive. I can't go to town. I can't just go to the store. And depression can set in very quickly out here. So I have had to create my own show, create my own nonprofit, create my own art studio. And the next thing I'm working on, you guys, because I'm wild, I'm creating my own little convenience store down at the end of our road.
Okay, I love
I
this
love
so much.
that. This is amazing. I love that you are overcoming this in ways that make you happy too. Like
Yes.
that matters. And from that you are also helping other people and making them happy too.
That
That's
is
so cool.
that is my goal, I guess, in life, is to make sure that people are smiling, that they're happy, that I'm sharing watermelon. Like, this is my 6th year of growing melon. and
Wow.
and giving them
Wow.
away. I give away about half of my crop, and then I sell the rest at my little farm stand. But I want to make it more of a bigger, like, convenience type store, because we need it out here pretty bad.
Okay.
We don't have anything out here. I mean, you can't even go get a Coke. Like,
Oh wow.
What?
you know, you have to drive 25 minutes to go get a Coke. You want a
All
candy
right.
bar, you know. So I want to create a little store, down here with just like a little bit of food and drink, nothing major, but my
Yeah.
produce, and be open a couple hours a day, and I can sit down there and create art and talk to people. It'll get people in. So
I love this so much. Like I wish I would lived closer so I could visit that. That's
right?
amazing.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to create my own magic, I guess you could say. And what I want people to understand is that even if you have these limitations, you have to work around them. You have to find new ways of doing things, and that's what I hope that people take from this, is that I have other limitations as well. I've got something called OH, which is orthostatic hypotension. It's very, very low blood pressure. I pass
Mm,
out.
yikes.
you know,
Wow.
I wear compression stockings all day, every day. I hate them, but what are you going to do? And then also have a chronic fatigue syndrome. It's right now in remission. Yay!
Yay.
Yay!
So, but it can rear its ugly head, and it likes to do it at random, and I never know when it's going to show up. And so when it does, I'm bedbound. I hate it, but I continue doing stuff. I don't let that stop me either.
I think that shows. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I would never guess that chronic fatigue syndrome is something in your world because of all the things you're doing.
Yes, since, oh gosh, my first episode with, we think it's chronic fatigue. That's what the doctor said.
Mhm.
That was in 1997. Was my first time. I was in a wheelchair for 3 months.
Wow. A
Wow.
wheelchair.
Yeah, my mom and I were planning my funeral because we thought I was dying.
Oh, no.
No.
Isn't that wild?
Oh,
I'm glad that you are well past that now.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was 1997. And so I've been dealing with that since 97. I think it was caused by a tick bite, because I haven't been able to eat meat, and haven't since the 80s. So I think it all stemmed from that a long time ago. But um, I don't let those things stop me. So and I know that I'm not saying, oh, if you have your bed bound, go do something. You know what I'm saying? But don't just lay there and let it take it, you know, take over, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
If somebody's listening that's dealing with something that is really tough, don't let it take over, you know, because it's all up in here, in your
Yeah.
mind, and it's all in mindset, and you have to be stronger than what's trying to fight you and bring you down. That's hard to do. It's like, really, and I have therapists, don't get me wrong. So, and so, because this is all the things that I have, that I'm dealing with, they're hard things,
Yeah.
but that's why I stay busy, because I don't want to dwell and think. I don't want to sit there and think on them. I go to my therapy. That's when I think on those things, deal with those things head on, and then, work on them. What I need to work on in between. So, yeah.
That is incredible. There's a quote I heard recently that I wrote down because I liked it so much. I'm going to read it to you and you can tell me if you think you agree with it. It says, if something feels too hard to start, it just means that the first step isn't small enough.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah?
Okay.
Ooh, that kind of almost brought a little tear to me. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Could you email me that?
I will absolutely email you that. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget.
I may just need to put that on my little website page that I have. That's powerful. Wow.
And okay, well, Emily, you put the quote out there, so I'm going to ask you, what's the last time that you looked at something that seems so insurmountable and you realized, okay, maybe the first step isn't small enough?
Is it you're asking me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday, literally. I saw
Wow.
I keep this quote ever since I heard this quote. I wrote it down. I keep it right by my desk. And I have this photo shoot that I never edited. And I thought, well, um, it's not true that I never edited it. I never even went through all the photos. Um, and it was like in this insurmountable like mountain. It was this mountain that I didn't want to climb just going through all these photos. I knew there was a lot. Um, and it felt silly because I've done this so many times before. Why is this photo shoot the one that I can't get working on? And so because while I don't do wedding photography, I do a lot of like photo shoots with friends and things like that. Thus the costuming. Well,
Yeah.
we could talk about that sometime too. But you know, so I was like trying to tear it apart. Like, why is this feeling too big to handle and deal with? And then I saw my quote and I went, oh, all right. I need to think about this differently. How can I break this down into smaller steps? How can I? Okay, let's start with just making sure all of the photos from the cards are on my computer.
There you
Let me
go.
transfer all the files. I'll just start there. That one step. I'm just going to transfer files today. I'm not diving into this big photo shoot. I'm just transferring files. And then uh, that was yesterday. Today I didn't get to the step of, well, I did transfer all of the files today. I finished it today. So like the next step I could be like, well, I'm going to go through 10 of the images. I can just be like, I'll pick a number that sounds small. I'll start with 10 and I'll go from there. And so I thought that's how I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break this down into smaller steps so that it's not this giant photo shoot I'm doing. I'm just doing 10 images or I'm just transferring files. And I did it. I transferred all the files and that's as far as I got. Here we are. The end.
Yay! Well,
Yeah.
still,
Hey.
you took a step.
I
Yes.
did. And it's totally working. I decided I should probably put this into practice. Because there are those
Yes.
things. Some days it's showering. All right, what am I doing? Why can't I just climb in the stupid shower?
Yes.
Showers feel great. What's wrong with me? So I'm all right. You know what? I'm just gonna go upstairs.
Yes.
I'm just gonna
Some
pick out some clean clothes.
some days I don't do anything, you
Yeah.
know. And people are like, "Well, how do you get everything?" I'm like, "You got to take breaks. Like, you got to just
Hmm.
sit around and do nothing sometimes, you know."
There was some
So,
there was some image I saw that said something like progress isn't linear, or progress doesn't like happen in a bell curve of sorts. There were different images of like glasses being like different levels of fullness, and
Hmm.
some glasses were completely empty and others were completely full, and then you had different progression on different days, and they go,
Hmm.
this is what actual progress looks like. It's not
yes.
linear.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
like a lot of glasses, and some of them have like this, and some of them, and all my projects. I know what I've got going, and then some projects are more important, some are not, and like you do, I'm like, I'm gonna just start that little step of, I'm gonna do this because this is what I know I want to go towards this goal. So I'm gonna make that little step towards that goal, and then I'm doing this too over here. I'm gonna work on that for a little while, and then I also have a 5-year-old, so we're doing a lot of
Oh,
stuff together.
Ooh.
He helps me paint.
I was about to ask that.
Aw.
Yeah, he helps me. I make little bookmarks, so sometimes he's really good at coloring. So sometimes he'll help me do a little coloring. I don't think I have one of his here. Like for instance, I'll ask him to play, to color the blue for me. He'll color
Okay.
it really good, and then you know, um, he gets bored, and then he'll go to something else. But I have like these little spinning things for him, so he'll do his own art. He has his own canvas. He does his own thing while I'm working on my stuff. He has his area, and he can make his own mess. And so, but we do a lot of climbing up the mountains and out here. We go to the creek, and we do a lot of things together. So have to take care of
I
him in
love
between the
that.
chaos.
And I love that you get to teach him art then too.
Yes, and everything about nature, because we're big into nature. We hug trees.
Ah,
Mhm.
Yeah, we're tree
I love
huggers.
that too.
There was some Instagram post, and sometimes, like when I see a bunch of images together, I'll just kind of flip through them pretty quickly. But this one said, "Little tiny steps to make happiness in your day." And it said, "Go outside, find the nearest tree, don't hug it, just look at it and say, 'Thank you so much for existing.' You're going to feel a lot better." And I'm proud to say that I went outside and there's an oak tree that's like really close to my house. Walked outside, I said hello, and I said thank you. And strangely enough, I did actually feel much better about myself.
It works. I tell everyone all the time, like, if you're feeling really down, really depressed, go hug a tree or talk to the tree or even put your feet in the grass. Or if you don't want to put your feet in the grass, touch it with your hands. You garden, so
Yeah.
it's all about touching the earth, and we have internal batteries inside of ourselves. And in order to get those batteries recharged, outdoors. That's why you felt so good talking to the tree, because it recharged you. I love that.
And then a squirrel actually did come down and started yelling at me, but that's a whole other conversation. Uh, I am sorry. I keep getting distracted because I have your Instagram page of I'm sorry, of the mudflap mama up on the left hand side of my screen. So every time I look over, I see some of the wigs, and oh, these are terrific.
I just bought a new wig. I found a human hair wig that was already cut into a mullet. A human hair one. It's like, what?
Gosh.
Couldn't believe
Well,
it.
being that there's so much theatricality, and that we did mention that you love opera as well,
I
so
do.
I do have to ask, what are some of your favorites?
Okay, so oh my goodness, which one did I go see? You put me on the spot because I was an insider at the Opera House in Chicago, and I saw quite a few shows, and now I'm like, which one? Which one? Oh my goodness, there were so many. Um, oh, what was the name of? I'm so sorry, I can't even remember the names of it.
That's okay.
That's fine.
They were so beautiful, though. I'm having a memory issue here now, and I'm just like, they were really good operas. And I was doing all the tweeting for it, and now I can't even remember the names of it. But I took 2 years of voice lessons in
Oh,
Chicago, opera specifically, and I got to learn that song Voi que sapete.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun to sing. And my instructor got to sing with Pavarotti.
Hmm.
ooh.
She was a really cool instructor, but it was down on Michigan Avenue, and I'd have to take the train in every Monday, and I'd go down and get my watermelon shake because it was just fresh watermelon that they would, grind up. It was really good. And then there was
I
a
see a
guy.
melon theme happening here.
I was growing food in Chicago too. I had a huge garden in my backyard, like this little tiny yard in the middle of like city of Chicago. It was crazy, but
That's
um,
awesome.
but yeah, I did. I was at the Opera House doing the backstage stuff where we would sit in the box and tweet, and we were tweeting. Which show was that? It was the Cinderella one, but it wasn't called Cinderella. Now I can't remember the
Um,
name of it.
was it Cenerentola?
Maybe that was what it was called. I can't
Was
remember.
it Italian?
But yeah.
Uh,
Oh my
Cener-
goodness. It
Cenerentola.
was probably that one, but we were. I can't even remember now because we're talking 10 years ago. So, but we were, 10 of us in the box, and we all won, our seats in those boxes, and we were the only ones with, allowed with phones, to do all that in there, and that was a lot of fun. We went viral, and we got to go backstage and meet the singers,
Neat.
and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I got to do that 2 years in a row, and then I moved back to Arkansas. But
Okay.
yeah,
Gosh, that's so. Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
You want to see the costumes? I just know it.
oh,
Yeah.
I also want to be in lyric opera. Like I want. I have not had the opportunity to go into the Chicago Lyric Opera,
Oh,
and it's yes.
oh, I'm telling you that just the opera house itself is just, it's beautiful. They got to let us go on the stage, and backstage, and then go upstairs where they were making the wigs, and y'all, it just that was life changing for me too, just to be able to stand on the stage and look out and imagine myself standing there singing. Like, I get chills thinking about it. Just chills thinking about that, And so that was a really fun experience. And just taking voice lessons, I had like 3 or 4 instructors, and it was a lot of fun. I wanted to be a supernumerary. I think it's what they
Mhm.
call it. Is that what
Yeah,
it's called? Supernumerary?
yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I was on their
What is
list.
that for those of us not in the biz?
You explain it.
Okay. So supernumerary is like those who are not performing in the chorus, but they still need to be on stage and fill scenes. So they don't have any dialogue, but they still need to be movement. So they could be like
Okay.
guards, or they could be nursemaids who are walking on with somebody, but they don't say anything. They don't have any lines. They don't impact the
Okay.
story. They're just kind
Like
of
extras, kind of.
basically, yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, you're just an extra. But wow, can you imagine just being an extra on stage
Yeah.
in Chicago at the Lyric Opera
Mm-hmm.
House? But I had to move back to Arkansas, and so all of that kind of came. Blah, blah, blah. And but that dream's still in the back of my head that one day I'll get to be on a stage singing at least one aria. It doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
big stage,
Why
just
not?
any old stage. Like, it just be fun.
Yes.
Well, I feel like if anybody's going to make that happen, it's definitely you.
Hmm.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah. I love that
I've
for
done,
any
I've
other.
I've had a
Okay.
pretty big bucket list, and I've accomplished everything on it, so I need a new one.
Oh, I love hearing that.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's pretty exciting. So now I've got to make a new bucket list. I'm not sure what to put on it yet.
What what a cool place to be.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't make a huge list, but I wanted to do all these things before I hit 50, and I did. And so when you say that I'll make it happen, I will, because I wanted to dance on a stage in Egypt at the bottom of the pyramids in a palace to a live band. Guess who made it happen?
What a
I
strangely specific. Sorry, Trey,
sorry. I'm sorry. This
but in a
happened.
good way. Yeah, like one of all the things, like this is my bucket list. It's like you picked 4 different things out of a hat and it was this scene and then you went and made it happen somehow. Like
Sure
what?
did. In 2010, I flew to Egypt, and I was like, I'm gonna dance on the stage to a live band in that palace. I did. I was a belly dancer for 20 years. So
Oh, see, okay.
Okay,
There's more to the story.
I just threw it
but
there at you.
But how amazing.
but
Right?
still,
Isn't that cool?
that is beyond cool.
That is one thing we don't have in common. I am not a belly dancer.
I mean, I could be a belly dancer, but nobody wants to see me in that costume.
Trey belly dan- Trey belly dancer Pittman.
Listen,
No,
listen.
no.
When you're born with a
Uh,
rare eye disease, you have it in your head that I want to do all these things leading up to this, because I know my eyes are going to go to put, and I want to do these things before it happens.
yeah.
So I lived very loud and hard, and in hard meaning I was go, 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 do, do, do. I probably
Yeah.
photographed 2,000 weddings in my career just because I knew I would have to retire. So
And you
I was
wanted to live a big life and you have.
huge and out loud, and I did. And now I'm very, very, very happy to be on my little mountaintop, quiet, not living out loud like I was.
You're still living very loudly in your own way.
In
And
my
I
own
think
way.
that's amazing and incredible. And I feel like that should also be a quote. Um, I'm writing that down. That's what's happening. That's why I got quiet.
Email that to
Um,
me.
I will email that to you.
I've done a lot of really just fun and what I call wild stuff. I wanted to live because I didn't want to wait till 50 for retirement to live. I want to live while I could with good eyes
Yeah.
and good,
Yeah.
good knees and good hips. And you know what I mean? It's so I just wanted to make sure that I hit my bucket list before 50, and I did. Yeah. So I'm happy
I
and
love
proud of
it.
it. Very
So
proud of it.
what's something else that was on your bucket list that you got to do?
I wanted to see David Bowie in concert.
Oh, so cool.
So I got to see David Bowie. I was Kansas City, seventh row. Yeah. He
Wow.
was sweating on me.
There's- and that's something you can't even do now because he's gone.
Can't do that.
I
But
love that you got to.
one thing that I didn't get to do on my bucket list was see Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. That was really up there for me, but it obviously can't. So,
If I can offer
Yeah.
you a consolation, there is MJ the musical, and I do hear that that is pretty darn good.
yeah, I would love to go see that. I'm gonna add that to my bucket list.
Yes.
There you go.
Boom. Thank you.
Look, if we're nothing if not offering compromises.
I love it though. I love it. I think that's a great thing to add to my bucket list.
That's incredible.
Don't have to see that. That's all, listening.
The musical. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to go in a slightly different direction
Yeah.
because with somebody who has done so much and you have accomplished so many incredible things, I'm curious, what is something that you wish more people asked you about?
As, just in general.
Just a question that you wish more people asked you.
Mm. Sometimes I wish
Hmm.
that people would ask me exactly what are you seeing? Nobody ever asks. I think they're
You
afraid
know,
to ask.
I did. You know what? To be fair, I did think to ask it at the beginning because when you said that you see weird, I was like, I don't know how to ask. Well, how do you see then?
Ah,
And yeah, it was like, this feels inappropriate. But yeah, okay. I want to know though.
maybe some people might feel like, oh, that's inappropriate or whatever. But I'm such an open book, and I love sharing. So, but people don't ask because I think they're afraid. It's funny because when I'm using my blind stick, people jump back. I want to wear a camera because it's hilarious. Like, I think I've got like leprosy. Um, but it's funny. The reactions and some of the comments that I hear is just really wild. But what I see is what I described a little bit like being drunk, which is weird because I've never been drunk. I'm 50 years old and have never been drunk. And that's because I'm allergic to alcohol. But
Oh,
if I were
well,
to imagine
that
what
helps.
it does help. If I were to imagine what drunkenness feels like, it's probably like wobbly, I would assume. Double vision, I would assume, is what drunkenness feels like. And
Okay.
so I'm wobbly and I have double, triple vision at times, sometimes quadruple vision. I hate days like that. There's a weird film that goes over my eyes like a Claritin commercial. Do you remember the Claritin
Oh,
commercial?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It not every day, but some days I get that very bad white film. I hate dark. Oh, I hate those are the worst days because I can't see through. It's like fog, and days like that are very frustrating. That's one thing that I'm learning in therapy is like how do I deal with that frustration? I haven't figured out how to deal with the frustration of my eyes changing. I haven't
Mhm.
figured out. I will though. I'll figure
That
that
would be
part out.
difficult. That would be very difficult, I imagine.
Yes, every day I wake up not knowing what I'm going to see. So some days I can't even see the E, the E on the top of the eye chart. I have
Oh,
an
right, right.
I have an eye chart here that I have hanging up so that I can see what my eyes are for the day.
Sure. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so some days I can't see the E at all. And then some days I can go down to about halfway to the halfway mark and I'm like, whoa, I'm having some, decent vision, but I have a lot of floaters. The floaters look like cars, people. When my husband is
Hmm.
driving, I look out the side because cars look like they're coming at us, and I just scream the whole time. So if a friend is driving, I don't look. I look away because I don't want to freak them out with me jumping or freaking, it's coming at me. And walking is strange to me. Things look like they're popping up out of the ground, like three-dimensional.
Wow.
Like you have 3D glasses on. When you go to the movies, and
Yeah.
that's what it's similar to that. Um, it's very similar. What I don't know. And then there's a lot of pain. So if my
Oh.
eyelid rips open the surface of the cornea, literally rips a hole in the cornea, and then it will get
Ah, yikes.
infected, and it's just it's a pain in the butt. But the surface is very dirty, and they've cleaned it off twice, lasered it off. Felt like a sunburn of the eyes.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, it's not fun. I can't do any more cleaning of the eyes, so I'm stuck with what I got now. And so that's how I see. And so I hope that when people see somebody out there with a blind stick, that they realize that there's vision's a spectrum, And so
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that. They think a blind stick means complete darkness, blackness, can't see anything. They don't realize that a lot of us can see. It's just we see different. So a lot of them have like maybe tunnel vision, or they can only see out of a spot. Some of them can only see, like that's a car, that's a house, but they can't see the detail. And
Right.
so, yeah, vision is on a spectrum, and I want people to understand that. And that's something I'm working towards too, is bringing this to the schools. It needs to come to the schools. I think we need to bring wheelchairs and walking sticks, blind sticks, glasses that mimic blindness, um, you know, hearing things to mimic deafness, and let the kids actually try the stuff out. Have some wheelchair races, let them do obstacle courses,
Sure.
run into things, let them try it out, let them understand it, feel it, and understand that there's different disabilities. You can't always see the disabilities either, but
Right.
this needs to be brought to the schools, because the way people react in public is just crazy.
Yeah, I think it would give people more empathy for others if they could experience what it's like to be in those shoes.
Sure thing. I think it needs to happen like fifth, sixth, seventh grade, because I used to be a substitute way back, and those kids are impressionable at that age. They would remember. That's a core memory. Like, hey, I used a
Mhm.
blind stick. I remember that girl who came with that blind stick, and I did that obstacle course. That was wild. I remember that.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping back and thinking, oh gosh, this guy, it's funny, the reactions of people. I'm like, maybe I need another TikTok with just reactions of people and how they act when they see a blind stick. It's pretty funny.
That might be a good idea for a TikTok too, is
Yeah.
of course you couldn't really do this for every disability, but someone could, it doesn't have to be you obviously. Someone could do a TikTok account that shows what it's like to have those
Yeah,
disabilities.
I
Like,
think
this
so.
is what you would experience if you had this particular eye disease or this particular problem. You might experience this kind of vision. I don't know how you do that digitally as far as like recreating that so the viewer
Yeah,
could experience it, but that would be, maybe there's something already out there. Now
I
I
don't
want to search
know.
for it.
I don't know.
If I
Maybe.
find it, I will email it to you.
Yes, yes. And I wanted to mention one more thing, because I know you guys are going to be wrapping up soon. The Rare Artist is open. They just opened yesterday, I believe. So if there's somebody, a listener, that's got
Okay.
a rare disease, and if they're unsure, they can get on there. There's a catalog on there,
Okay.
and they can check and see if they have a rare disease. And if so, they can enter that same exact contest that I was in. They choose 10 winners. So there's 10 people that they choose from across the United States. And music, poetry, and art. Why not? It's free to enter. So, yeah.
I love that. That's such a great idea.
Yeah.
I will post the link along with this episode so people
Yeah.
can find it easy. Would you, for anybody who wants to get into being a painter or perhaps starting to check things off their bucket list, what advice might you have for them?
Just do it already. I friends that are like, oh, I would love to finger paint then. Go get the canvas, go get some paint, and go do it. And there's so many things that people are like, oh, I wished I could do this, or I wished. Don't wish, just do it. Fake it till you make it. When I started as a wedding photographer, my ex-husband at that time, he double booked a wedding. I had to go shoot a wedding with no experience. Film, 28 rolls of film. I faked it.
Wow.
And they came out beautiful. And I was like, I can do this. and that's how that happened. And so
Wow.
if you have a dream, just do it. And if the doors keep slamming shut one after another, then that's not the right road. Then there's another, you got to go. It's just another path. If the right turn didn't work, go to the left. That's how I do. So, yeah.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
Solid advice.
My question, not related to anything we've talked about so far. If you could sit down and have lunch with anybody in the world, alive or dead, and pick their brain for about an hour, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's Jesus.
Interesting. Okay.
I would sit down and hang out and talk to Jesus because, I got a lot of questions.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be. A really interesting conversation. I mean, he said alive or dead. I mean, he
Why not?
died and then died. That's who I would interview. Yeah,
I like that answer. I also want to make sure that our listening audience can stay in touch with you. So far, we've mentioned that you've got the Mudflap Mama on
Yes.
both TikTok and Instagram.
Yes.
Then we also have your Instagram page for your other art, the Lena Regina Artist.
Yes.
And then I think you also have a Facebook page, correct?
Yes. I think I have like a Lena Regina Art. There's like a group and then a little page or something like that on there. Mudflap Mama's on Facebook, but I always forget to post on there to be truthful. So yeah.
Awesome. Are there any other places that our listening audience can stay in touch with you?
You can post my email. I don't mind. The artist Lena Regina at gmail.com. I don't mind one bit.
Okay.
If somebody wants to reach out and talk or whatever, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please send her questions about how you too can start up a patch of 11 different kinds of melons.
Yes.
Right.
By hand because my tractor broke down. So.
Right. That is so much work.
It is a lot.
Lena, what I can say about this past hour is that you have so much just innate joy. I don't think you've ever met an obstacle that you couldn't see a path around, and that you maintain such an incredible, infectious level of joy. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Please go follow Lena Regina. Please buy some of her art. Please stop by her to-becoming convenience store where you can see her painting and also buy some of her 11 different kinds of melons.
Yes.
Please just go support her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta buy a tractor parts. So yeah, if they're interested in a piece of art, they can message me on Instagram. And yeah, I'm the money goes through my nonprofit, so they can get a tax write-off on it too.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, ooh la la.
Well, as we close this episode out, we want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in today, whether you're listening by Spotify or in person or YouTube, wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying this celebration of art and all the beautiful things that come with it. You can find more behind the scenes conversations on our Patreon. Just search for The Mod Rom. You can also visit our website for past episodes at themodrom.com. Thanks so much for tuning in.